This is Harold Seidenfaden. He is 79 years old, and on the morning of February 7th, he walks into his neighbor's house covered in blood and sits down at the kitchen table. He tells them he has come from the camper behind his home and asks a question no one there is prepared to hear.
911, what's your emergency?
My neighbor, he just came up through my yard, all covered in blood. I guess what he's saying is he and his wife had a big argument, and he might have killed her.
Okay, what's the address, sir?
It's 2356 Elko Road.
All right, and do you know where he is right now?
Yeah, he just walked into my house. He's sitting in the kitchen.
Does he have any weapons on him?
Well, I found a knife, but she took it from him.
When deputies arrive minutes later, they find Harold waiting calmly inside while Debra Seidenfaden lies dead in the camper nearby. What makes the case difficult to process is not only what happened that morning, but the years of illness and pain that led up to it. This is the story of Harold and Debra Seidenfaden and the events that ended their life together in Elko. Elko is a quiet community in Houston County where neighbors know each other well. On February 7th, deputies are dispatched to Elko Road after a man reports that his neighbor arrived at his home covered in blood and said something had happened to his wife.
Best I got is it's a male named Bud, possibly about 80 years of age. His covered in blood. It should be in the residence with the caller. The caller's in the neighbor. I'm not sure on the address where it occurred.
When officers arrive, the neighbor explains what Harold said after entering the house.
Come up here. What's going on, fella? Keep your hands up where I can see them.
Where's he at?
Where is he at?
He's in my house with my wife. He called me. He said, Nate, are you home? I said, yeah. He said, have you got a gun? I said, yeah. I said, yeah, bud, what you need? He said, I need you to shoot me. Me and Deb had it out. She left. But she gone. Yeah. I said, Brother Bud, I walk out to talk to him. Yeah. And I walked out door. He's in the yard right here. Blood all over his shirt and everything. His hands.
Where does he live?
In the camper back there behind me.
Harold had not attempted to flee or hide from what happened. Instead, he walked to the nearest house and waited for the police to arrive. Officers begin questioning Harold outside the home. He appears weak, disoriented, and covered in blood. As they ask about Debra, Harold gives an answer that immediately changes the situation.
Where is she at?
She's down in the house. She's a good woman, but me and her, she wanted me to get operated on Monday, and I wanted to wait on it.
Okay.
I've been operated on.
Is she okay?
She's gone.
Officers move toward the camper while Harold directs them to the back bedroom.
Hey, ask her where she's at.
Where's she at in the camper?
She's in the back room.
Back room? Supposed to be in the back room. How many rooms are in the camper?
You got it. The living room, and there's a door that goes into the back room.
25. Living room, then the door, then the back room?
Huh?
Which side? What side's the bedroom?
There's another door.
On the left?
Yeah. No, yeah, on the left. Look back in the back.
It's supposed to be living room, door to the left, then go to the back.
Nobody back there?
Blood and a knife.
Nothing, brother.
Nothing.
Even with Harold telling them where to look, officers still couldn't find Debra at first. But eventually, after searching more thoroughly, they discovered Debra Seidenfaden lying under a blanket on a bed in the back room.
Where she's at? She's on the back bed. She's under the blanket. He covered up the blanket.
Debra Seidenfaden is gone. The camper that had been their shared home is now a crime scene, and the man sitting in the neighbor's kitchen is now a suspect in his own wife's death. The officers continue treating the scene as a homicide investigation, while also recognizing Harold's physical condition and need for medical attention.
Bud, you ain't got no weapons or anything else on you, do you? You need any knives or anything? Hold on, don't. Okay. Just your phone?
Yeah. No.
Well, we didn't have exact on everything, so unfortunately, We have to be safe, not sorry. And by us being safe, that actually keeps you safer.
Once the immediate concerns are addressed, Harold begins to speak more openly about his life in the months and years leading up to this morning. Harold begins describing years of medical problems, surgeries, and chronic pain.
That prosthesis goes down into the bone. It broke it out. Boom. And now, I can't. In the hospital for 2 days. Couldn't drink, had a bowel blocking. This way goes get it around. This even split the skin. I couldn't drink or eat 14 days. And the stupid doctor said, "You're diabetic and your blood sugar's too low." I said I hadn't eaten anything or drank anything. Hadn't eaten anything or drank anything for 14 days. Sure, my blood sugar's too low. They drink quick.
The officers listen, and then Harold says something that reframes the entire morning, not as a moment of violence directed outward, but as something that had been building toward a very different ending, one that Harold had intended for himself.
When did you drink bleach? This morning?
He had planned to leave alongside Debra, not survive beside her. The fact that he was still there, able to speak with investigators at all, changed how detectives understood the case, even if it did not change the outcome. While officers attend to Harold, investigators document and collect evidence from the scene. The knife taken from him before police arrived is recovered nearby, along with his phone, both helping detectives piece together what happened that morning.
Just did break out. The prosthesis down in there.
Put these on the frame, okay?
The box. It's got the knife and the pants in it. And that's his phone right there next to it.
Is there any way that somebody can make sure my wife gets covered up before they... We're going
to make sure everything's taken care of. Hey, come over and we'll walk with.
Getting Harold into custody takes time due to his age and medical condition, and officers proceed carefully while arranging treatment and transport.
You're gonna have to slide. Put your other foot up there and then kind of push. Pull your left foot in. Oh, that'll be all right.
With Harold in custody and the scene secured, investigators begin interviewing the witnesses present that morning as they work to piece together what had led Harold and Debra to this point. The neighbor's wife was the first person to speak with Harold after he walked into their home that morning. She tells investigators how he entered through the back door, sat down quietly, and asked whether police had been called.
He had his hands like this.
Yeah, was he anywhere else in the house? How did he come in? The back door?
I live down in the yard, highway, in the house.
And he just came straight through here? Did he go anywhere else in the house?
No.
All right, so he just came in here, sat down, and then...
She was in the kitchen. I heard you, come here, hurry. Walk around the corner, no, God, bud.
Okay, all right. So just to make sure, came in that door, walked straight over here, sat here until we got here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I told him just sit here.
Okay.
He said, "Did y'all call the police?" He said, "Yes."
Okay.
He said, "Tell them to call them."
Investigators also spoke with Harold's employer, who had arrived at the property before officers and briefly spoke with him outside. According to investigators, Harold described being overwhelmed by ongoing pain and the prospect of another surgery scheduled for the following week.
Basically, I just stood there, but his spontaneous utterances were he couldn't take it anymore. She wanted him to have another surgery on his shoulder that he was supposed to have next week, and he didn't want to because of the pain and everything he's in. Apparently, that's his boss from the country club. Apparently, he's also got some heart issues as well that's been going on. Yeah, he couldn't take it anymore and something else. Basically, it was just one of those, he had to do it to get away from her. Pretty much what it boiled down to.
She wanted to have surgery. She wanted to go ahead and have the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't want to have the surgery.
Before Harold is transported to the hospital after drinking bleach earlier that morning, an officer asks questions about his mental state and whether he is experiencing any psychiatric symptoms.
Are you hearing any voices? Are you hearing any voices, anything like that? Right now?
Oh, you need to unplug this.
You hear me? Okay, not having any inner voices in your head.
Still wants to pull anything
Yeah.
before you start pulling stuff.
Harold Seidenfaden was later found competent to stand trial and convicted of 2 counts of murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm. He was sentenced to life in prison. By all accounts, Debra had spent years trying to help her husband manage his condition and continue treatment. That effort ultimately became one of the most painful parts of the case for the people who knew them.